Welcome. Thank you for listening to those valuable words of messages from our sponsors. And we now have a new team and a new game. I've never met you before. My name is Nick.
Nice to meet you. I'm John.
John, nice to meet you.
Hi, Siddharth.
Sadat, nice to meet you. Tell us about this game. What's it called? What is it?
Yeah, so our working title for it right now is Project Spook.
Okay.
And Project Spook is a horror game where you play as the older sister of a young girl who's gone missing on a field trip to the park.
Oh no.
Yes, I know, it's quite terrible. So, as the older sister, you've come here to try and find and rescue her, but it's unknown what lurks within the forest.
Ooh, sounds scary. For our audience out there watching on the stream, would you mind maybe playing the game a little bit so we can see some stuff moving around?
Yeah,
while
absolutely.
you talk about the team and who was involved building this project?
Oh, yeah, for
Was
sure.
it just the two of you? Were there more people involved?
Yeah, so we have 5 members. John here was kind of the guy who he brought the idea of the project. We have me, Siddharth, working on the narrative and the level design. We have Connie, who's an undergrad who's in her final year. She's the one who worked on our monster model. If we even have a monster in the game, I don't know.
Spoilers.
Yeah. And she also did like the sound design for the game. We have Emma, who did the models for the player hand, which currently we don't really have animated completely yet, but that is on its way. And we have Mike, who helped John with the development for the game.
Oh wow! So it sounds like you have quite a few people involved working on this project.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we kind of just did because we wanted to learn a little more about a specific engine that we're working with now. So it's been really fun and a really good learning experience for us, and we hope that by the end of it we'll have something cool that we made out of this.
Nice. Well, that line right there, even just, I have like 7,000 follow-up questions too. So you said that you got together to learn a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the process of getting together. Was this like a game that you had to make for a class? Was this something outside of class? How, did you get the group together? Like, tell me a little bit about that team formation / like, what was the foundation for this project?
Yeah, so this game was made for this class called Production Studio, which usually you go for it if you have a certain objective in mind.
Okay.
So a lot of teams go for that class when they want to develop a game with a group of people they know. For some of our members specifically, each of us had individual objectives, and it just happened to be that what John pitched was ideal for each of the members who wanted their own specific goals met, and we all just came together with that common goal of making this game, but each of us have our individual reasons for like working on something within the game.
Nice. So Production Studio is a class that you can take in the IGM department.
Yeah.
Are there any requirements going into this class? Is it an upper level class, a mid level class? Because we do have some audience members here watching at home. They're students, they're family members. So we also would like to inform everybody of the opportunities here at IGM. So can you tell us just a little bit about that? Like, how would somebody position themselves in a good way to get the most out of this class if that's something they wanted to do?
Well, so I think this specific one is it might be the grad level version of Production Studio, and there's probably other versions of it if my knowledge of the courses are right. But I would say it's not the kind of elective that you take without really having a goal in mind. For example, for me, one of the things that I wanted to work on is my ability to scope my ideas down, because that's something I've had an issue with. Is I always want to add more and more.
Oh, yeah.
Add complex stuff, and it isn't always feasible. So my main focus was to like try to work on how I tone down my ideas while still having the same level of uniqueness that I usually like to bring. So I'm not sure how far I've managed with this project, but I do think production studio is the kind of course that you can take if you either have a group of friends who you want to do a project with and develop a project further, or if you have a goal in mind and you think that maybe working on a game on the side is something fun. And anyways, I think for most people within this kind of a program, you love working on games, so just taking an elective that lets you work on a game is it's great fun.
I think that's great. Just to swap it up a little bit, right? Maybe we can switch. Maybe John can talk for a little bit, and we'll take the controls over here. And I'll follow up another question for something that I heard, that one of the goals of the team was to jump in and learn a little bit more about an engine. What was the engine that you wanted to learn a little bit more about? Can you tell us about that? And then can you tell us, did you actually learn anything new? And how did you apply it to the game?
Yeah, definitely. So the engine that we're working with is Unreal Engine 4. A lot of the GDD program at RIT gives us a lot of experience using the Unity engine, and so we wanted to get more experience outside of that. And Unreal Engine is a very big one, definitely like one of the biggest ones out there. And so it seemed like a really good opportunity, especially because a lot of companies in the industry use that engine. So, after we decided we all wanted to learn more about that and start using it, we learned a lot. So we are actually using a library that we got from the Unreal Asset Store called the Horror Engine, which is essentially just a bunch of compiled assets and code and things that is specifically designed for building horror games.
Okay.
And so we came into that thinking that it would provide a lot of help for us and, get rid of a lot of the development tasks that we would have to do otherwise, like creating inventory systems and creating stuff like these flashlights and whatnot. And it did. We had a lot of stuff to work with in the beginning, but we began to realize that modifying it for our own purposes was pretty difficult, because the horror engine is more designed for beginners, where everything is already hooked up for you, and the actual development process is more of just drag and drop things into your world and build levels and things like that, which was something that we didn't realize ahead of time. But otherwise, we have still learned a lot about the Unreal Engine. Just from debugging it and trying to modify things about it, because we still have to go in and look at blueprints and whatnot and change code. And so it's been a really, really good experience for us, just learning how to go through the editor and work with that interface and everything. And also, both of our modelers and also working with audio and things, they've been working a lot with Blender, which is 3D modeling software that they've not worked with before. So even on top of just the engine itself, everyone on our team came in with something new, completely new, that they wanted to work with and learn, and everyone has really, really had a great experience with that.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that everyone has been having a great experience. I know sometimes learning new tools, learning new technologies, doing something for the first time can be very frustrating, and you want to get it right magically on the first try and be perfect, but I think that's a recurring theme today, talking about sometimes it's just a big milestone to put your foot forward, try something new, experiment, and iterate as part of the development process, right? Figure out what's going well, what's not going well, and continually working at it until it's something that is what? This is workable, this is fun, we can have some fun and play a game here.
Absolutely.
So you also mentioned that this was made for the production studio class. I don't know what week it is, but it's getting close to the end of the semester. Is this something that you think that you'll bring forward and continue working outside of this class? Or are you hoping to wrap it all up by the end of the semester? And what else would you, in your opinion, think you would still need to do to get it to that complete state?
So I think that's a discussion that we still need to have as a team as the semester comes to an end. But we've designed our scope for this semester in a way that when we get to the end of it, if we decide that we want to drop it and leave it exactly how it is, we're going to be very, very proud of what we have. But with that being said, we also started this project with the thought that this could potentially be something that we can move forward with outside of the class and possibly bring into our capstone project in this following academic year, or just work on outside of this class as a personal project. So I think it's a discussion we haven't had yet, and we need to think about it, but I think either way we'll be very happy. If we leave it, this is already great how it is. And to kind of get to where we want to be at the end of the semester, we're pretty much there. We're pretty much just hoping to add one more set of content to the game, and add that last couple of weeks, and then I think we'll be pretty happy with the state of the game, and we'll feel that it is in a complete state.
Yeah, well, it already looks pretty great. I like the art style right now. When I was trying to talk and ask questions, I did manage to look back and forth a little bit, but it looks pretty fun. I like the adventure vibe that you got going there. So,
Thank you.
Double thumbs up review from Nick.
All right.
Thank you.
I do have some more questions, but I'd like to remind everybody on our live stream, if you do have questions for the team, feel free to post in chat, and we'll get one or two out there. Because again, we have a lot of family and other students watching, and you guys have been through the rough rodeo of making a game, and you probably have words of inspiration for other aspiring gigantic game developers.
Definitely.
But yeah, one of the questions that I'd like to ask following up was, you talked about the Unreal Engine, and again, for like the family members or the maybe first or second year students, what is a game engine and why is it super valuable to a team?
You want me to? Yeah, okay.
Go for it.
So a game engine is basically a higher stack of, it's a development tool that kind of allows you to easily do game development as compared to standard custom engines. There's a lot of games where you have to do a lot of the coding ground up. So when it comes to physics and other such fundamentals, you kind of have to do all the things from the ground up. But engines kind of give you a platform that allows you to focus more on the content that you're putting into the game rather than building up the fundamentals every time. In some situations, you might want to do that if you have some specific needs for that project. Like you want the physics to be a certain way for a feel that you are looking for in the game, then you're going to have to build it yourself. But if you just want to get some content in there and you think you can work with an engine, it's a very good tool to use. And I'd say Unreal and Unity are the most popular ones right now. And there's also Godot, which is an open source one that's also popular. But yeah, engines makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah, it definitely facilitates the game development experience and gets rid of a lot of that initial foundational overhead that goes into creating games.
Nice. Ben, do we have any activity in the chat?
Not at the moment.
All right. Well, thanks for posting, chat. How many people we got in there right now? 10. All right. Going up and down all day. People are coming in and out. Your game, obviously you're demoing it out on the Expo floor, but for those of our audience members at home, is there a way where they can download it and play it today, or is it only on your personal machines?
There is a way. We have an itch.io page where you can download and play the game.
Oh, nice. So if you are interested in playing the game and wandering around, feel free to visit the itch.io page, leave a comment, 5-star thumbs up. Again, how much time do we have left?
About a minute.
About a minute. I'm doing better at
All
this
right.
and not going over too much. I would like to, of course, say thank you for stopping by. The game looks awesome. And if you had one piece of parting advice in like the last 30 seconds of our demo, what would you tell other students or, making fun games, lessons learned, or just general pieces of advice?
I think the biggest piece of advice I would give is, don't be afraid to fail. It's not going to work on your first try. I mean, a lot of things are going to break, and a lot of things are not going to work, and a lot of ideas are not going to stick. And if you can just be okay with that and accept that things happen and be, I guess, flexible and able to adapt to changes, then you can make something really successful.
Awesome.
I second that.
Yeah, second it. I'll third it. Slap it down. Put it on a lunchbox. Well, again, thanks for coming by. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. The game looks awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll be right back.